What's going on YouTube? It's your boy Ronnie Pugs, back again with another video. I'm sure you guys have heard the news. If you haven't, you probably live under a rock, or you're a DC fanboy. The Fantastic Four and the X-Men are coming home. Disney purchased part of Fox's entertainment division that included these characters. And real quick, if you guys wanted to know what I thought of the deal, like most, I'm glad to see all these characters now under one roof. And more importantly, I'm glad we'll see a lot more X-Men and Fantastic Four characters in media and marketing. Because it's pretty sad to know there's a generation of kids introduced to Marvel through movies or cartoons and they have no idea who the X-Men or Fantastic Four are. When I was a kid, the popular superheroes were X-Men and Spider-Man, and now I'm glad we'll finally see these Fox characters marketed more. But the topic of today's video has to do with how this Disney and Fox deal could potentially impact Spider-Man in the MCU, which is actually going to be a two-parter. I had a couple of these videos planned about this deal, but I scrapped all of them because I didn't think they sounded good enough, and I think this is the best one out of all of those ideas that I had. So here we go, guys, how the Disney and Fox deal could potentially impact Spider-Man in the MCU, Part 1, the Fantastic Four. I hope you guys enjoy. So to start this video off, first let's look at how Spider-Man could impact the Fantastic Four in the MCU. We all know that in Spider-Man Homecoming, Tony sold Avengers Tower to who we don't know, but now that this deal's happened, I high-key expect the Avengers Tower to turn into the Baxter Building. I think Marvel's original plan was to turn this building into Oscorp, but after this deal happened, I don't know anyone that wouldn't want this building to become the Baxter Building. And this works because it would also explain Norman Osborn's hate for superheroes. He wanted his company centered at one of New York's most iconic buildings, and Tony Stark, a superhero, chose to sell it to someone that is eventually or would already be a superhero. So Spider-Man can impact the Fantastic Four in the MCU by already setting up the potential purchase of Avengers Tower, but how could the Fantastic Four impact Spider-Man? It's been stated that another MCU hero is appearing in the Spider-Man sequel, and this sequel is actually the first film after Avengers 4. So who better to include in this movie than the Fantastic Four, creating hype for the Fantastic Four solo movie. In the first ever issue of The Amazing Spider-Man, the Fantastic Four play a part in the story, so why not make the Fantastic Four's first major appearance in the MCU in a Spider-Man film? I'm not saying they have to play a huge part in the story. I'm saying Marvel could do something similar to what we got from Spider-Man in Civil War, or what we got from Tony Stark in Spider-Man Homecoming. I actually have a way I'd do this. First, I'd have Spider-Man get the symbiote in Avengers 3 or 4, but he doesn't get rid of it. He keeps it through the end of Avengers 4, and he eventually brings it back to Earth. Then the plot of Spider-Man 2 is about Peter's struggle with the symbiote, eventually seeking advice, going to see a friend of Tony Stark's, Reed Richards, who tells Peter the suit's alive, and just like in the comics, he helps Peter get rid of the suit. And depending on whether or not the Fantastic Four are a team, you can even throw in the Bagman suit from the comics that a lot of people seem to like. So one way the Fantastic Four could impact Spider-Man is by making an appearance in the Spider-Man Homecoming sequel, creating hype for their movie just like Civil War did for both Black Panther and Spider-Man. And how crazy would it be for a former Fox property and a Sony property appear in a film made by Disney? Now, another way the Fantastic Four could impact Spider-Man's future in the MCU is Marvel eventually adopting the Future Foundation storyline. Now, if you guys don't know who the Future Foundation is, they're Reed Richards' team of heroes that he forms with the goal of creating a better future for humanity, and I think Spider-Man joins this team after the death of Johnny Storm. Correct me if I'm wrong. This only works years from now, and if the MCU is still going, I could see the MCU adapting this team to keep things fresh, whether or not it be Tom Holland's Spider-Man or Miles Morales. So another way this deal impacts Spider-Man is that this deal potentially creates an opportunity for Spider-Man to join a team other than the Avengers. Now, for the last way I see this deal impacting Spider-Man is that Spider-Man's good friend from the comics, Johnny Storm, could potentially live at the Parker house. This all depends on how old they make the team in the MCU, but in the Ultimate Comics, Johnny Storm moves into the Parker home and eventually attends Midtown High. And now that Aunt May knows Peter is Spider-Man in the MCU, I could see this happening. And real quick before we move on, and this is just a fun one, wouldn't it be great to see a live-action Johnny Storm race? I don't see it happening, but it's just something fun since that's one of the most memorable moments from the Ultimate Spider-Man game. So to wrap things up for the Fantastic Four part of the series, ways this deal could potentially impact Spider-Man are that it's now most likely Reed Richards purchased the Avengers Tower, the Fantastic Four could possibly be the MCU hero that show up in the Spider-Man Homecoming sequel. There's now a chance we could see Spider-Man team up with these characters as a member of the Future Foundation. Johnny Storm could eventually move into the Parker house depending on the age of the character in these movies, and just for the hell of it, we could see a live-action Johnny Storm race. So let me know what you guys think. Could you see any of this happening in the MCU, and how do you think the Fantastic Four could impact Spider-Man in the MCU? Let me know in the comments below. Thanks for watching. Be sure to subscribe, follow me on Twitter, and I'll see you guys again in my next video, part 2 of this video, the X-Men. See you guys again. Thanks for watching, and I'm out.